everybody. Welcome to our Bridge Site Design webinar. My name is Erin, and with me today I've got Jack Rymack, one of our applications engineers and the primary webinar demonstrator. So welcome, Jack. Per usual, we've bit off a little bit more than we could chew for a 30-minute webinar. So I am going to sort of announce a small reduction in scope. Originally, this was going to be a start-to-finish design, including the import of survey data. But given 30 minutes, we're really just going to focus on the key piece, which you're here to see today, which is actually the design of our bridge site and the calculation of our bridge site abutments. So with that being said, I've just got a small little introductory PowerPoint, and then I'll pass it over to Jack for the demonstration. We've already done the survey data import, the initial terrain modeling, and our road alignment behind the scenes. Jack has already applied a no-cut, no-fill template across where our bridge span will go. And he's going to be picking up from that point. So the first thing he's going to be doing in our location module are exporting the road edges and the slope stakes, bringing those back into terrain to merge into our original ground, designing the retaining wall components, and then calculating the earthwork for our bridge abutments. This demonstration is going to be done using our two modules of the program. We'll be starting off in location. Usually this is, the second step that we would show you, but because we're coming in midway through a project, we're going to be picking up here. This is our road alignment module, and it's very good for that. But to design our bridge site, we need to take it back to terrain. So terrain is our second module, and it's our terrain modeling module. It handles our original ground as well as any type of site design. So that's a quick look at what we're going to be seeing today in this presentation. And then finally, my public service announcement on behalf of the sales and marketing team, some upcoming webinars that you can attend. First of all, we've got design time costing with RoadEng 7 and Software Optimal. And this is basically just about learning to understand your costs and see them as you design. That's coming up on Friday, August the 11th. On Thursday, August 24th. Yeah, so Thursday, not our usual Friday, we're going to be covering template components. And then the one that makes me quite excited, our version 8 preview webinar has been announced. It's in the calendar for Friday, September the 8th. And some of the features and new functions that you'll be seeing in that webinar, an introduction to our multi-plot report builder. We'll be talking a little bit about how our conversion over to 64-bit, which basically just means more LiDAR, and cloud-based flexible licensing, our new user interface is completely changed, as well as some of the really cool GPS functionality that we've got inside of every module. So you can see those functions plus more in our version 8 preview webinar coming up on the 8th. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jack.
Thank you, Erin. Could you pass the screen over to me?
It's coming.
Thank you. All right. Like Erin said, thank you, Erin. Again, like Erin said, we're going to start with the road design module and export some information to our terrain module. I'm going to show you two methods of creating bridge abutments. The first one's going to be easier. And that's the reason we're using the road design module to export some information out to terrain. The second one's going to be a little bit more complicated, where I'm going to actually build the bridge abutments and calculate the earthwork quantities around them. Let's start out with the first method. Here you see the location design module with road edges showing, and you can see that there's a simple bridge no-cut, no-fill template across this gap. I'm going to export the road edges to terrain, because that's the only features that I need to do this simple bridge abutment. File, save as. Terrain file, and I'm going to call the bridge design done. and overwrite the original file. Just export the road edge left, road edge right, and allow edit in terrain. There they are. It's automatically opened up in terrain. If you toggle on that allow edit in terrain, it will automatically open up those features in terrain, in the terrain module. I don't need the south road edges, so I'm just going to delete those. I'm going to just work on the north side, and then I'll work on the south side later on for the more complicated bridge abutment design. Put in a background of my original ground so you can see it as a reference point. Right click over my plan window, active window plan options, background, add original ground. There's my background. Okay, so there's only two features in the foreground, these two road edges. I'm going to select them both. Everything else is just an image in the background. I'm going to join those two. Control J is our quick stroke key to join them. And then we are going to grade down to the ground to make our simple bridge abutments. Press the grading button, which is up here, this button that says grading when you hover over it. And we're going to grade to our right, which is the outside of these road edges. Grade to our right, and then you have to pick the target surface. It's going to be our original ground. And I know that I have to grade something less than 1:1. Let's just try 1:1 just to show you what happens. Interpolate some extra slope lines across around the grading feature. Set daylight to tin boundary. Generate tin. Calculate volumes. And press OK. And switch this over so this is the original the original ground is the original surface. The final surface is the one that I'm working on, the road edges. You can see why why the 1:1 does not work. It actually overflows into the stream, so I'm going to change that. Grade it again. This time I'm going to grade a little bit steeper, 1/2. There, that worked. Okay, so there's my simple bridge abutment using just the road edges. Let's merge this into the original ground. First of all, let me just make sure that I have my tin. Generate triangles, contours. There's my contours around this surface. Save this as North Road designed, bridge design North Road. Open up my original ground. Zoom extents. Merge my original ground, turn off a couple of these options. So what I did is I went into the options button, turned off some of this, including side stitching, outside stitching, and then browse for my North Road designed to merge it in. So what this does is it actually creates a hole in this area. Let me generate my tin. So now we got everything merged in nicely. This portion has taken over the original ground data that we had there, so it's basically replaced it like a donut hole cutter that cuts out this area and replaces it with some other material. Let's take a look at this in 3D. There it is. It definitely looks like a surface. Pretty nice surface. Simplified bridge abutments. I'm going to save this out, get rid of my 3D window. Save as. Original ground plus North Road. Now I can start working on the south road, or south abutment. And this one I'm going to do a little bit more complicated design. First of all, let me do a quick recap of what I've done so far. I was started in the design module, exported my road edges out, brought them into the terrain, calculated simple slope that grades down to the ground, hence making my forming my simple bridge abutments, merging the original ground with this new surface, saving the file, looking at it in 3D, and let's go on to the South Road now and do the more advanced bridge abutment design. Start with a new terrain. First step for this advanced design is bring in my background in the new terrain. Again, right-click Active Window, Plan Options, Background, Add. The last one that I saved was called Original Ground plus North Road. Turn off my lock scale, zoom extents. There it is. Again, it's just a picture. It's just it's not there's no features that I can select here. I will bring in some features now. Concrete ballasts, insert file, ballast walls, and I'm going to center them into the terrain. Let me just try that again. File, insert file. I think I did that a little bit too fast. Choose ballast wall. Go to my you've got this import options dialog box. Select the rotate translate scale. Turn off disable no coordinate adjustment and center in the screen. There's my ballast wall. Let's take a quick look at it in 3D. Window, new window, graphics, 3D. I can't see, I got to look at it separately in a 3D. Let me just open it up in a separate terrain, and then we can see it in 3D. This is what it looks like. Start over from scratch and bring in my background again, just because I went a little bit too fast there. Zoom extents. Wait a minute, I brought in the wrong feature to the background. I'm going to bring in my original ground plus North Road. zoom extents. There it is again. Bring in our ballast wall, file, insert file. So I'm basically going back a couple of steps, starting from the previous point that I was just before I decided to look at a 3D view of the ballast wall. Turn this off, center in the trains, center in the screen. There it is right there. Now let's move it around. Before I move it around, let me bring in another background of the South Road just as a point of reference, just to know where I'm going to put my ballast wall. Add South Road. There it is. Okay, now let's start moving this around. Control M to move. M as in Mary. And then pick it up, pick and drag your feature around. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Put it in as close to those road edges as I can. Just click on the center so that you have a nice point to grab. We have a rotation cursor. If you hover over certain points of the ballast wall, you'll see this rotation cursor appear, and you can rotate the wall around. I'm going to rotate it so that it's perpendicular to my road. There we go. Okay, the elevation of the road, if I hover over the road, you'll see the elevation is actually 199.5. You can see that in that little splash screen that appears. I'm going to elevate the top of the ballast wall to 199.5. Select all features included in that. Right click, modify selected features, shift 199.5. So basically it's shifting this feature, the top, and it's moving all the other features that are selected also relative to this feature. I can zoom out again just to see a little bit more of what I'm doing here. Let's do our grading operation. Select the outside of our ballast wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, so I've got the outside selected, I'm going to grade down to the ground, hence making a bed of rock material that the ballast wall is going to sit in. Again, grade to the right. And what am I going to grade to? I'm going to grade to original ground plus North Road train. And I'm going to grade it about 1/2 to 1, just like I did before, just because I don't want steep slopes going down or shallow slopes going down to the river. Interpolate points, slope lines all the way around. Set daylight to tin boundary. Generate tin, calculate volumes. There. You can see my the bottom of my ballast wall has a fill on that it sits on top of, and again we can figure out the volume of that fill. This is a metric file, so this is 65.8 cubic meters of fill that I'm adding at the bottom of the ballast wall where it sits. There you go. I'm going to generate my tin contours, make sure that I have my tin contours. What I did was I pressed this button here, generate tin, and there's your contours running around, and they should run around in circles concentric rings around the ballast wall, which they do. Save this as south abutment terrain. Merge it into the new ground that I had, the original ground with North Road terrain. Open that up. Open up the original ground plus North Road. And then merge my south abutment. Again, it's going to create a cookie cutter effect in this area and get rid of all of the contours and the data in this area, as well as this preliminary line here, preliminary alignment line. Generate my new tin and contours, incorporating my ballast wall in here. Let me take a quick look at this 3D. You can see that that's what it looks like. Okay, let me just do a quick recap of what I've done so far. The question was, can you mask the grading slopes at a particular side? Yes, you can. And the second question was, is there any option to introduce a multiple grading slopes? Benches within the slope, yes, you can do that. So yeah, I had a couple of questions there. Can we mask the grading slope at a particular side? Yes, you can. So you can do one side, both sides, the left side, the right side, or both sides. Does that answer your question? And is there any option to introduce a multiple grading slopes, benches within the slope? Yes. All right, just a little recap of what I've done so far. I'm just going to do another 5-10 minutes more and just incorporate the last bit of road. But first of all, I want to just do a quick recap of what I did since I merged the North Road. I brought in a ballast wall, graded it to create a rock that it sits on, and then merge the two together. And now I'm going to bring in the last piece of roadway and just grade it down to the ground and merge it into the final surface. All right, let's save this first of all. File, save as, original ground plus North Road plus South Abutment. Okay, now let's do the last bit. I'm going to open up that South Road again. There it is. Bring in my background, my last background that I just created. Original ground plus North Road plus South Abutment. And then I'm going to, let's just zoom off, turn off the lock zoom, zoom in. I'm going to grade this down to the ground so that it basically grades around the new abutments. This time I'm going to grade to the left side. Grading on the left. Browse for what I'm going to grade. What the surface I'm going to grade to is the one that it's on top of. I'm going to grade down to the left. Sorry, 1 to 1, good enough. Interpolate. Slope lines. Set daylight. Generate tin. Calculate tin. Calculate volumes. This is the original surface. You have to switch this over to original, so we've got a little bit more fill than we have cut. There's the road surface now. Save this as South Road designed. Wait. I just wanted to make sure I have a tin. Generate my tin again and save it one more time. Now merge everything together. Open up the this one, North Road plus South Abutment, and then merge. My South Road designed. Generate my new tin. There it is, incorporated in. Let me just take a look at a 3D view of it. Looks pretty nice if I do say so myself. So this is the simplified version in the north. Just no wall, just using the road edge features just to grade down to the ground. More advanced bridge design with a ballast and grading down to the ground. Abutments and ballast, and then merging the existing road and making sure that existing road gets as close to that abutment as possible. Well, thank you very much, folks. That's basically all I wanted to show you today.
Great. Thank you, Jack, for the presentation, and thank you, everyone, for coming. Hope you can join us again soon.
Thank you.